Well, good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a superfruit or super berries propagation video. We have goji berries, we have honey berries, strawberries, blueberries and red, white and black currants. So we'll start off with propagating some strawberries. Right, let's have a look. That's one runner with one plant on. Just going to use some old labels just to hold the runner down like so. Now we'll repeat that through. Here we have some more runners down here, so bob that in, old label. There we go. Strawberries are just so common and so easy to propagate, so I don't see why you'd go and pay £4 or £5 for a little tray of strawberries every year when you can get your own so easily just by propagating your existing plants. They'll root in a couple of days or a week or so, and then you can cut off the runner and then they'll be their own independent little plants and ready for next year. They'll put on a little bit of growth this year and survive over winter. Go around here with that one. Old label, put a little fold in it. There we have strawberries. Number 2, we'll propagate some currants. These are a mixture of white, black, red currants. Just put them in water a week or so ago, and as you can see already some of them have started rooting. You can see that, and all we need to do with that is get them in there, just work them in with a bit of soil and give them a good watering in a minute. See if we've got any more. There's another cutting with roots on, just coming. We'll let these grow on for a week or so in here just to get the roots extended a bit further. There's more roots on that one. So I don't know what currants they are because I moved some bushes from up the back which weren't doing very well, and it seemed to knock all the leaves off. So there's no point in having bits which aren't rooted. Let's just cut him off there. So get a bit further away from that one there. This is, we got any more? Tiny little root coming on there just under the node, so when you do your cuttings leave a little bit of stem on past the node because it roots just below the node. I've tried cutting across the node and it doesn't seem to work, but if you just leave some 2 or 3 nodes on, it's going to root somewhere down there, and pop them in the water and then you'll have some lovely plants right away. Here's another one. See, we have a node there and it's rooted below it, and it's getting a few little calluses on which are all going to be roots. And again, there's a node, and just below the node it's rooted. And popping them in water is a great way to start, so you're not wasting all your time planting 20 and finding out what's grown and what hasn't grown. And here's a little packet of cuttings I did earlier. Some haven't taken, see, that's dead. This one, I don't know. There's one here which is probably dead, that's dead. So you don't know if they've taken or not, just popping them straight in the compost. So pop them in water first, you'll see the roots forming, and then you can plant them up. So that's currants, red, white, black currants, propagation number 2. Here we are on honeyberries, and this one is honeybee, and we're going to do air layering, which simply means using a device or some paper or some plastic or some tin foil to get a clump of soil wrapped around the stem somewhere. So we'll do this stem here. We'll just take a couple of leaves off. Now there's no need, sometimes they say wound by peeling some bark off, but this is pretty new growth and they are honeyberries. They root readily through a few various methods, and today I'm going to use air layering. So we'll get a bit of compost, just a mix anyway, and we'll bob this around the stem. Try and do it without it all falling out. There we go. Now these are great little devices because they just lock like that by folding over, and that's that done. You can bob a little bit of water in the wider gap at the top, run it down the branch. Now you just, because it's clear plastic, you'll see that rooting at some point, and that's air layering. Propagation number 3. Okay, we're still on honeyberries and we'll use the stooling up method. Stooling up is just very similar to air layering. You're just covering the bottom of the stem with soil. Hopefully it will root. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 branches, and I want to cover them all. So instead of just mounding up compost and using all my compost up, I found a little collar. So we'll get the collar around it, pop it in, and we'll start filling that. So it is just basically stooling up, making sure all the stems are covered all around. Some more compost in, and there's some vermiculite in there, which I couldn't remember before. I've remembered what it's called now. And there. So hopefully now all these branches are individually under the surface of the compost, and we'll give that a bit of water just to settle it all in. And that's the stooling up method. Each individual branch will form its own roots. It's very quick, very easy, and that should give us 8 plants in spring. Method number 4. Okay, method number 5 on Goji berries. Now these are also known as a life berry. They are a superfruit. They have a lot more antioxidants and vitamin C than your blueberries, and they're amazingly easy to root, so you don't need to use rooting hormone or anything like that. So we take that off. That's one. Make sure you get a couple of nodes, 1, 2, 3, at least 2 in the, so I'll just leave a little bit of leaf on. Now I know that this works because I've already done about 40 plants a week ago, and every single one of them taken. And they say about goji berries, if one of the branches lays on the soil, it's going to root and it's going to give you more suckers, and it does spread, have a spreading habit like raspberries. But if you want a big row of goji berries like I do for my little fruit forest, which I'm going to create next season, then you need to get propagating. And this is what this is all about. All these plants, which cost a fortune to buy individually, each and every plant can create hundreds of plants. So there we go. That's goji berries. Propagation method. Oh, it's probably the same method, but that's number 4. And here are some I did earlier. I've got about 30 like that. I don't know if you'll be able to see any roots if I just take it out. This is about 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, there you go. So lovely little root system forming, and that was done exactly the same way as that. Goji berries, the life berry. There you go. Several super easy propagation methods. multiply your plants tenfold, 20-fold, and create yourself a new fruit forest for very little money. Buying all these plants individually will cost an absolute fortune, but if you use this method to propagate, you're going to end up with hundreds of plants for very little money, which is super. Thanks for checking out the wee garden. Hope to see you again soon. Catch you all later. Bye.